Hi everyone. Hey, thank you for joining us again. Today I've just got a super basic fundamentals movement class for you. I hope you're all staying well and liking the movement classes that we're bringing to you. Like I say, anything that doesn't feel right in your body, know that if I've moved forward in a progression, just to come back to a previous movement, or just come into a rest pose, so hug knees into the chest, or return to child's pose if something doesn't feel right. Also knowing as well any of your contraindications, so any spinal movements that you're not supposed to be doing, or maybe hips or shoulders, things like that. So we'll get moving. We're going to start lying down. So come to lying down on your mat. Just take your time. We're going to take it nice and slowly today. Realize when you've got your bum in the wrong place. So just have a moment to check down through your body. So just feel how you are lying here on your mat today. Get any kind of those little adjustments out that you need to get out. And then just lining your heels up with your sit bones. So if you look between your thighs, you shouldn't have to see your feet. They're parallel with your sit bones, in line with your sit bones, and your legs are running parallel to each other. And then just have a little melt down through the body, so the back of the pelvis is nice and heavy, back of your ribs are nice and heavy, your shoulders are heavy, your collarbones are wide, and your arms are just resting down beside you. And here I just want you to have a reach out through the crown of your head. So really lengthen the crown of the head away from you. Good. And then here, just take a nice big breath in. And exhale, just let the breastbone drop down. Inhale, feel the belly move up, the belly float. Exhale, belly falls, feel that breastbone drop down between your shoulder blades. Let's go 2 more breaths there. Inhaling, slowing your breath down, slowing your nervous system down. See whether you can lengthen the next breath in and the next breath out. Good, and then just returning to your normal breathing. Just take a scan through your body, just to see how it feels during this time. Have you noticed that you've got a little bit of tension crept out through the shoulders? Can you create that little sense of length through the neck? Maybe you've got a little bit of lower back pain, upper back pain. Just taking notice of those points. Let's try not to overanalyze them, but just take note and see how different you feel at the end of this class. We're just going to start off with a few little pelvic tilts. I'm going to move my arm out of the way so you can see my pelvis. We're just going to slowly, I want you to imagine you've got 12 o'clock position on your ribs, 6 o'clock on your pubic bone, 3 o'clock on your right hip, 9 o'clock on your left hip. Okay, so if you can just imagine it's that clock face on the front of your belly, and a marble in the center of your clock face. I'm going to roll the marble up towards your 12 o'clock. And then you're going to roll the marble towards your 6 o'clock. And again, back up towards your 12 and towards your 6. I'm going to bring my arm back down now that you're seeing that movement, just so you can see that you let the rest of the body just be relaxed. You might see a little nod through my chin as I do this. And it's just a rock through the back of the pelvis. And you can bring in some breath with it. So exhale as the pelvis, the marble rolls towards 12. Inhale as the marble rolls towards 6. Sorry. Again, 12 and 6. Exhale, 12. Inhale, 6. Just go 3 more like that. Really slowing the breath down. Let this movement just happen. Let's try not to over-recruit. So there's no clenching through the bum. Ribs stay heavy. Good, and last one up towards 12. We'll bring the marble back in towards the center of your clock. Now we're going to roll the marble over towards 3 o'clock and then towards 9 o'clock. 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. We'll do a few more like that. This one, the breath doesn't matter so much. Just let the breathing happen. We need to check that your knees aren't swaying from side to side to make this happen. See if you can keep the legs, both knees reaching to the ceiling as you rock through the pelvis. It's almost like a reach away with that thigh. Go 1 more to each side. finishing over at 9. Bring the marble back into center. Alright, let's take some nice big circles. So roll the marble up to 12. Let's go past 3, 6, and 9. Back up to 12, 3, 6, 9. Good, and then we'll just keep going with that clockwise direction. Whichever way your clock's going, it doesn't matter. Just enjoying these nice big circular motions with the pelvis. Again, thinking about a little bit towards your breath. Exhale as it rolls up to 12 and inhale as it rolls back to 6. Let's go 2 more this way. Again, just let the body be relaxed, let the movement happen. Pausing at 12. Reverse your circle. That's it. And you might find it's a little bit awkward for the first few. Just let the movement come in. Think about your breath. And if there's any points that feel a little bit sticky, like a little bit more tension, then taking a pause, and you can take that little rock. So you can imagine that the marble just wants to rock back and forth through a couple of numbers. Go 1 more in this direction. And then again, bringing that marble back up to 12 and then rolling it back into the center of the clock. Beautiful. So when the marble's in the center of your clock, you should be in neutral spine. So you should be able to imagine, you might not be able to get a hand underneath there, but if you could imagine that marble, there's a little space underneath the lower back for that marble. So it's just resting underneath there. All right. And then here, so the back of the pelvis is heavy. There's a little bit of weight towards your tailbone. And the whole time we're going to move through our movements, we're going to stay in that neutral spine. From here, we're going to inhale, float your right leg up, and then float that back down. Inhale, float the left leg, and then lower that back down. Raise it on the breath in. Exhale to lower. If the breathing doesn't make sense to you, if you're not used to coming to my classes, then just breathe as you naturally would. What I want you to check is that your hips are staying still, that the marble is staying in the center of the clock. Tendency would be is that the marble would want to roll between 3 and 9. We want to keep the pelvis nice and still and keep that marble in the center. We'll go 1 more on each side. And then we'll pause with the right leg up in the air. I'm going to say marble up in the air. And then here we'll float the left leg up to meet it on the exhale. Good, right leg down, left leg down. Left leg leads, inhale, exhale, right leg comes up. Good, left leg down, right leg down. Good, so it's the first breath in, is the first leg. Exhale to bring the second leg up. So we always use the breath out for the loaded movement. Good, and left, exhale, right, left down, right down. And again, left. Exhaling up the right. Good, left down, right down. All right, the right leg comes up. Exhale, float the left leg up. Join the legs together. I really want you to think about the inner thighs drawing towards each other. We're going to keep that 90-degree bend in the back of the knees. On your exhale, we're going to tap the right toe down towards the floor. Hold it off the floor. Inhale to bring it back up. Exhale, left toe taps. Hold it off the floor. Inhale to bring it back up. Good. And again, so it's just the breath out. Now we've slightly reversed the breathing, using the breath out to tap the toe down, and how to bring it back up. Can you keep that marble in the center? Good. Can you keep that little space underneath the lower back? If you find that the lower back space is increasing and the pelvis wants to roll away from you, make the movement a little bit smaller until you find that control in your body. Good. Last one on the left. And then hug the knees all the way in towards the chest. Take a little rock from side to side, just massaging out across the top of the pelvis, the lower back. Letting the ribs relax, full breath in and full breath out. All right, let's return those legs back to tabletop. And again, I'm going to move through our progression, so know you can come back to those previous movements, either the up, up, down, down, or just the toe taps. Right, from here, drawing those legs together, really zipping them up. And then from here, both toes are going to tap down towards the floor. Remember where that marble is, that little hollow underneath your lower back. Inhale to bring the legs back up. And again, exhale, tap the toes down. How low can you go? Find your challenge point without that lower back lifting. Inhale up. Good, let's go for 5, 4. Good. 3. Keep the shoulders heavy, collarbones open, back of the arms gently pressing into the floor. 2. Last 1. Beautiful. Hug those knees all the way in. Little rock from side to side. Good work. All right, we're going to bring those legs straight back up to tabletop. Take the arms slightly wider. We're going into side to side. Option, feet can be down on the floor if you need them to be. Legs up in tabletop, really drawing the knees together. Make sure they're gluing together. Knees are going to stay the same height through the whole movement. I'm going to roll the knees over towards my right side. As I roll them over to my right side, my left shoulder's staying down on the floor. Knees are the same length, so you might need to reach that top knee a little bit further. Exhale, pull the legs back through to center. Inhale, now reach and move to the left. Right shoulder stays down. Reach that right knee a little bit further. You'll feel the sideways switch on. Exhale to come back through. Good. Inhale over. Gaze stays towards the ceiling. Exhale to peel back through. So you should feel the work now just through the side waist. And then really thinking about those ribs drawing down to the floor, the waist drawing down, the lower back draws down, hips draw down. Almost like you're melting down through that side. Good, you're really using those side obliques to pull you back through. Reach through that top knee, shoulder stays down. If you want to take it a little bit further, you could roll the knees over to the right. Good, reach both legs out long, fold them back in. Exhale, come back through your center. Inhale over, exhale, reach out, fold on the breath in, exhale back into your center. Let's go one more on each side. Good, last one, over to the left, reach out, inhale to fold, exhale, legs back through, one foot down, then the other. Let's have a big stretch out. I've rotated on my mat. Big breath in. Allow the belly to fully expand. Again, so the option was to leave those feet on the floor if you needed to, anytime through that movement. All right, my bum's really annoying me. Square yourself up, I've crept off completely. All right, squaring yourself up on the mat, we're going to go into bridging. So your heels will come a little bit closer towards your bottom, and that will just allow for that little bit more of a posterior tilt through the pelvis, so that 12 o'clock position with the marble. All right, take a nice big breath in. Exhale, think about that marble, roll it right towards 12 o'clock, and then continue to peel all the way up through the top of your bridge. All right, now the top of your bridge isn't as high as what an extended bridge would be. We're coming down to the point where you can feel the breastbone being heavy, so check that you're not up through the chest. Okay, keep that chest down, really wide across the collarbones. You can feel the space almost pressing down between your shoulder blades. The work is coming from the glutes and the hamstrings. Take a breath in, and then exhale, slowly lower yourself back down, starting through the chest, moving down through the lower back, the pelvis, and then inhale, you'll roll the tail back to that neutral position, or the marble back towards neutral. Take a breath in, exhale, roll the marble towards 12, peeling all the way up through your top of your bridge. And take a breath in at the top, and then exhale, roll down. I want you to see whether you can feel yourself slowly placing every little bone down onto the floor. If you want to make this a little bit harder, you can take the hands up to the ceiling. See how that feels? I'm just going to take mine out of the way so you guys can see this movement a little bit better. Okay, and then really, as you lower yourself down, make sure your bum's not doing the drop. We're really rolling, articulating through the spine as you roll back down. Inhale, reach the tail away. Exhale, think about the marble, roll it back, rolling all the way up. So at the top, I want you to check, can you lift those hips a little bit higher? Think about opening up the creases at the front of the hips. Keep the chest nice and heavy. From here, we're just going to roll down to halfway. I'll move my arm out of the way. Rolling down through the ribs. So we're just going to mount through to the bottom of the rib cage, and then we're going to lift back up. Again, rolling down through to the base of the rib cage, and lifting back up. Let's go for 3 more. Use your breath out to lower. Inhale to lift up, lift from the hips. Exhale down. Inhale up, last one. Good, pressing up, press through the heels, drawing the knees in line with your heels, and then slowly lower all the way back down through your body. Hug your knees into your chest again. Oh, really lengthening out through those hamstrings. Give them a little hug, tailbone lifts up to the ceiling. Little rock across the back of the pelvis. Good work. All right, holding on behind the thighs, we'll go into assisted roll up. So take a breath in. Exhale, press thighs into hands, roll the head, neck and chest forward. Then pressing the thighs even heavier to roll all the way up. Sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, turn yourself into that C curve. Gaze comes down towards your pubic bone. Slowly, with control, how slow can you go? Rolling down through the body. Take a breath in at the bottom. Again, press thighs into hands. Curl the head, neck and chest forward. Now press thighs into hands to roll up. Sitting up. Hold it again. Good, use your breath out. Can you make your thighs even heavier to slow yourself down as you come down? All right, let's go 2 more. Good, lengthening up. Now if this you want to take this a little bit further, you can always go into your full roll-ups if you're wanting a little bit more of a challenge today, or if you just want to move mindfully. This is still a challenge. Good, lengthening all the way up. All right, let's send the legs out long in front of you. If you find it difficult to sit up with your hamstring length on top of your sit bones so that the spine's nice and tall, know that you can just fold up the back of your mat. Bring yourselves up a little bit higher. It takes the pressure out of the hamstrings and out of the hip flexors. Or other option would be just to bend your knees. This is a spine movement. It's not so much about the hamstring. All right, so your feet are, let's go outside of your hip distance. Reaching your arms forward, lifting the spine up as tall as possible. Can you grow a little bit further on the breath in? Keeping the shoulders down. Exhale, we're going to roll forward. So as you roll forward, I want you to imagine that there's like a bungee cord attaching you to the wall behind you, pulling your bottom ribs and your abdominals to the wall behind as you reach the spine forward. Taking the shoulders away from the ears, big breath into the back of the ribs, and then exhale, restack the spine back up. Good, again, taking a breath in, lengthen, exhale, roll forward. We're going to keep the pelvis vertical, the movement's coming from the top of the lower back up through the upper back. Good, really breathing into those back ribs, really give them a stretch, and then exhale, restack the spine. We'll go 1 more time. Exhale, rolling forward. Good, breathe into the back ribs, give them a big stretch. And then exhale, restack the spine back up. Good work. Flick that mat out from behind you. Just come into soles of the feet together, or whatever comfortable seated position is for you. And then check, you don't want those feet in so close that you want to fall backwards. Slide them away from you so you're comfortable up on top of your sit bones and get that flat, straight spine position. Let's go into our genie arms. We're going into a little rotation. Take a big breath and stretch up. Exhale, just going to rotate around towards your right. Good, inhale as you come back through center. Exhale, rotating around towards the left. Can you grow taller as you come back through your center? Exhale, keep that height as you rotate. Good, so the more you stretch the spine out as you rotate, good, the easier the rotation should be rather than dumping and compressing into that rotation. Good, inhale to lengthen up. Exhale to rotate. Can you keep the rotation through the spine only, or do you find that your feet are wanting to press into each other? That means the pelvis is shifting. So we try and keep the pelvis nice and quiet. Like though you can feel those 2 sit bones, they're embedding into the ground underneath you. Good, come back through center and rotate towards the right. Hopefully you have enough space. From here we're going to open the arms up, so open up your wings. Inhale, look back towards your left hand. Big breath in. Exhale, look back towards the right. See if you can rotate a little bit further. Go, we'll do that 1 more time on this side. Inhale, look back towards the left hand. Exhale, look towards the right. See if you can rotate, bringing out a little bit more. Good, come back through center. Cross the arms back over. Let's get your pure rotation. So that rotation from the chest only. Open up the arms, spread your wings. Inhale, look back towards the right. Look back towards your left. As you exhale, try and twist out a little bit further. Good, inhale back towards the right hand. Exhale, rotating deeper. Beautiful, come back through center. Relax the arms down. Feet up on the mat in front of you in your little car racing position, I like to call it. Arms reaching forward, lengthen the spine up. Exhale, we're going to roll down. So we're rolling down through the back of the pelvis. Good, keep the feet really heavy. When you feel the feet want to lift up, pause, ground through the feet. Good, take a breath in, lower down another inch. Good, keep those feet heavy. And again, exhale, lower down another inch. Pause for the breath in. Exhale, roll down. Good, rolling all the way down now. Stretching the body up. Good, big breath into the front of the belly. Let it expand. Bring your feet back on the floor, back into that start position we had. Heels in line with the sit bones. Not so close towards you that you're going to press down through the lower back. It's about a 90-degree bend in the back of the knee. Hands interlaced, in behind the head. Elbows just in your peripheral vision. If they're jammed back, we try and lift up, we don't get very high. They're just inside your peripheral, we're going to keep them there, so checking that they're not coming in as you curl up. Okay, so again, marble, neutral, a little bit of weight towards the tailbone, there's a little hollow underneath the lower back here. Take a big breath in. Exhale, curl the head, neck and chest forward, your gaze will come up to around about mid-thigh. Pause for a breath in at the top, and then exhale, slowly roll back down. Good, again, inhale, curl forward, making sure those elbows are curling up, making sure your tailbone's not lifting up, so we're keeping the marble in the same place. You have the breath in at the top, and then you exhale, roll back down. Good, so that's your start position. I'm staying doing just that if that's enough. If not, we're going to increase it on this one. Inhale, the hands are going to come over, hold on behind your thighs, curl up a little bit higher. Good, hands come in behind the head, you hold that chest position, and then you roll back down. Again, breath in at the bottom. Exhale, curl forward. Inhale, hands come over. Hold on behind the thighs. Exhale, curl up even higher. Hold the chest position. Gaze doesn't move. Hands come in behind the head. And then slowly roll back down. Let's go 2 more like that. Exhale. Inhale, hands come over. Exhale, curl up higher. Hands come back in behind the head without the chest dropping. And then exhale, roll back down. And again, curling up. Good, hands come over. Use the breath out, ribs slide towards hips. Hands come up behind the head as the chest stays still. And then slowly roll back down. All right, and again, we're going to increase that. So pause here, take an extra breath into the belly because I need it. All right, so increasing that movement, take a breath in. Exhale, curl forward. Float one leg up to tabletop. Exhaling, the second leg floats up. Know that they can stay on the floor if you need to. Take a breath in, hands come over behind the thighs. Exhale, curl up a little bit higher. Hands come back in behind the head, and then rolling back down. And again, take a breath in. Exhale, curl forward. Hands come around, hold on. Exhale, curl up even higher. Hands come back in behind the head, and then roll back down. Again, I'm going to increase it. Take a breath in. Exhale, curl forward. Pausing within your chest lift position. Take a breath in. Exhale, tap the right toe down to the floor. Inhale to bring it back up. Exhale, left toe taps. Inhale to bring it back up. Good, we're staying here. Every time you use your breath out, you're tapping a toe. Can you curl the breastbone up a little bit higher? So you're trying to maintain that position of just sitting on the bottom of your shoulder blades. Good, let's go for 3 more on each side. Bring your head down if you start to feel anything through your neck. Keep the head really heavy in the hands. Good, keep trying to curl that chest up even higher towards your pubic bone. We've got 1 more on each side. Good, last one, curl even higher. Good, pause here, take a breath in, curl up another inch, and then roll all the way back down. Hug those knees into your chest. Little rock. Good work. Rolling all the way over onto your side. Let's go onto your right side to start off with. Top leg is your left leg. Come all the way down onto your side. Bottom arm has your head resting on top of it. Good. Bottom leg, let's bring it out of the way. We'll bring it forward. Right, top leg, we're going to reach it even longer. Good, keep reaching out. You should be a little gap, like a little mousy house underneath here. As you lift that leg up, we're not compromising it. Good, and again, we're going to lift the leg up, reach it out, and then lower it down. Good, lift it up. Rather than tapping it all the way to the floor, can you hobble off the floor and bring it straight back up? Good. Hand up on that top hip. Reach out away from that top hand. I don't want you to feel like that hip is creeping into the hand. So it's only a movement where your hip will allow that leg to go to. So everyone's different, and as you build up strength here, you should be able to find a little bit more. But like I say, every hip's built a little bit differently. Let's go for 4 more. Good. 3, 2, 1. Lower it to halfway, little pulses up. Good. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause into your circles. Good. So we've got nice little circles. Drawing circles with your heel on the wall that's away from you. Can you keep trying to reach and touch that wall? Good. We've got 3 more in this direction. 2, 1. Reverse your circles. You may feel a little bit of a burn now. I know I do. All right, and again, can we keep the body nice and still as we're circling? We've still got that little mousy house underneath the bottom waist. For 3, 2, 1. Pausing here, we're going to sweep the leg forward. Good, and then sweep the leg back. Let's point through the toes forward, and then sweep through the heel back. Good, toes point forward. Check you're not rolling the whole body forward with it. Point the head, reach through the heel, have a little squeeze on the butt to reach it back. Toes forward, heel back. Good, toes forward, heel back. 3 more. Good, keep the body nice and still. Good, 2. Leg stays at hip height. Sweep the leg back forward. Reach through the heel, little pulses here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Melt the leg down. Roll that knee in. Little rub on top of that bottom, just to release off those glutes. Massage them out. Hopefully stop the cramp. All right, we'll go all the way onto your other side. I'll just switch in so you guys can see me. So now my right hip is on top. Bring that bottom leg all the way out in front of you. Not all the way out in front of you, bend out in front of the hip. Check that you're in one nice long line. So the back of the pelvis should line up with the back of the hip. You're not curled forward. One long line. We're reaching out through that top leg. Keep reaching it out. Reach it out and lift it up. And then lower it back down. Again, lift it up. Can you make it even longer? And then back down. Good. Great. And so you've got the option just to hover it off to create that little bit more of a challenge. Are you protecting your little mousy house? Good. We've got 4 more. Good. 2, 1. Lower it a little bit. We've got little pulses up to the ceiling. Good. For 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Leave it up there. We're turning into circles. Go, keeping the body nice and still. Keeping the waist, the hip still. It's the thigh bone that's moving. We've got 2 more on this side. Good, and we're reversing. Moving in the opposite direction. Can you make that leg longer? Can you try and touch the wall? Ooh. for 3, 2, 1. Pause here, point through the toes, sweep it forward, reach through the heel, have a little squeeze on that butt. Good, reach the toes forward, reach the heel back. So check here, as your leg sweeps forward, is it staying in line with the hip? So you want the foot to be parallel with the floor through the whole movement. Good, toes forward, heel back, stand up in that heel. Last 2. Last 1. Leg comes back forward, reach to the heel, little pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Leg collapses. All right. Again, giving yourself that little bit of a massage through that glute. Let's take you all the way over onto your fronts now, so onto your bellies. Let's go from here. Let's have hands back inside the ribs, like your little grasshopper elbows. I will keep looking at you, but you are looking straight down the mat. All right, I'm going to keep looking at you so you can hear me. The heel of your hand lines up to around about the bottom of your rib cage. Okay, so your top of the fingers should be towards the top of your shoulders. You can imagine that your heel of the hand's like a little pivot point, so we're not going to cut up any higher than the heel of the hand. Gaze is straight down at the mat. Check in here, pubic bone presses into the floor, sit bones reach down the back of the leg. So I'll get my arm out of the way, you can see the difference. Okay, bum is happy, like a happy dog. Here, move the tail down the back of your legs like a scared dog. Okay, and you should be able to feel then like the lower abdominals are just gently lifting off the floor. Okay, take a breath in. From here, imagine there's a little marble in front of your nose. You're just going to roll the marble towards the top of the mat. You're going to watch that marble. As it rolls towards the top of the mat, you're going to open up the front of the chest. So again, you're pressing into the heel of the hand, open up the collarbone. So you're opening up through the front of the chest here. Go, take a breath in and then roll back down. Follow the marble back towards your nose. And again, nod the marble forward. Roll the front of the chest up. Good, follow the marble to the top of the mat. Check you haven't just used your lower back to get that movement. I want it moving all into the upper back. And then slowly rolling back down. And again, exhale, roll forward. Check the weight still towards your pubic bone. You're still a scared dog. And then roll back down. Let's go 2 more. Really open up those collarbones. You can almost feel like your armpits are trying to move forward. And then roll back down. Last one. Roll up. Weight towards the pubic bone. Can you hover your hands off the floor and maintain that position, resting on the bottom ribs? And then slowly roll back down. Press yourselves back into your child's pose. Let's go knees together, thighs together. Just resting your forehead down on the floor. Good, and then let's bring the arms all the way down beside you. So you're in complete recovery in child's pose. Really breathing into the back of the body. Allow the lower back to open up and lengthen, tail to sink down the back of the legs. Shoulders just to roll forward. Coming up now onto all fours. And at all fours, we've got the hands directly underneath the shoulders. They're just slightly wider than shoulders. Check they're not too narrow because it's just not a nice position for the front of the chest or the shoulder joint. Knees, there's about the fist distance between your knees and they're straight underneath your hips. All right, let's take a couple of happy cat and angry cats. Happy cat, breathe in, open up the chest, think about the chest opening. Exhale, think about your angry cat. You can make the noise, it sometimes helps. Good, inhale to come forward, you can purr if you like. And then exhale, rolling the spine up. One more each way. You can turn it into a bit of a curious cat if you like and have a little wiggle. Do what feels nice for your body. And then come back to halfway. So you're a neutral cat, yeah? Sit bones are reaching to the wall behind you and crown of the head's reaching away from the tail. And then there's that little sense of lifting the abdominals in towards the spine, just giving you support through the lower back so the ribs are attaching down towards your hips. Okay, so take a breath in. You've got your weight shift between your hands and your knees, evenly weighted. Exhale here, we're going to reach your left leg up behind you, right leg at the same time. Good, can you keep the weight exactly even between that hand and knee that's on the floor? And how to lower, we're going to stay on the same side, reach back out. Good, so we're not having to transfer weight. We can keep moving on that same side. Check that as you've done this, you haven't sunken off into that right hip. You've got the weight pressing evenly into that right knee and the left hand. Keeping your weight through the center. Good, use your breath out as you reach out. Good, last one. We're going to pause with the arm and leg reaching out. Flex the foot, heel kicks up to the ceiling, little movements. We're not using the lower back to find this, we're using the back of the thigh, the glute. Good, little pulses. We've got 3, 2, 1. Lower the arm and leg all the way back down. Reset through the body. So shake out the wrist. Do what you need to do. Reset through the hips. Lengthen the spine. We're on neutral spine again. Take a breath in. Exhale, right leg, left arm away from your center. Inhale to float them back down. Exhale to reach out. Again, check that weight distribution between knee and hand. Check you haven't shifted off to the left. If you want a little bit of a challenge, would be not resting that hand and knee as they come down. So just hover off before you lift back out. Good. Let's go for 3 more. Check you're not rolling that hip out. Keep both hip bones pointing down towards the floor. Again, even pressure. Last one. Pausing out here, flex the foot. Little heel kicks up to the ceiling, trying to kick the ceiling away for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower both back down. Come back into child's pose. Let's go wide knees, toes together. Sink the chest down. Good, big breath into the back of the body. From here, I'll take you into a little lateral stretch. So walking your hands over to the left side. You can place your right hand on top of the left if you like. And taking a stretch out through that right side of the body. Really sinking down through that right hip. Big breath in. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Good, after this breath, walk your hands back through your center. Reset yourselves, then take the hands over to the right side. Now you can place your left hand on top of the right if you want a bit more out of it. And again, just melting down. Get that left sit bone to be nice and heavy on that left heel. Breathing into the right side of your ribs. Good, and again, walking those hands back through your center. You can stay there as long as you like. Let the chest melt down. Beautiful. Sliding your hands back towards you. Coming all the way up to standing. That'll work. In our standing position, looking down at the feet. We've got that sit bone distance again between the feet, that little rock back and forth. Good work. Taking that little rock from heel to the front of the foot. Just finding the weight changing through the front and the back. And then just pausing a little bit more weight towards the front of the foot. Doing a standing roll down, so we're nodding the chin towards the chest, slowly rolling all the way down through the body. Let it just happen. Let the spine melt forward. Let the head, the shoulders, the arms, the fingers, shake them out at the bottom. Let it all be loose. Shake through the knees, make sure the knees aren't gripping on. Good, and again, take that little rock back and forth at the bottom. Pausing again with that little bit more weight towards the front of the foot. Let's start the tailbone, let's slide that all the way down to the floor. Once the pelvis is fully stacked, then the lower back, the upper back, the shoulders, the head, everything come back up in line. Take a big stretch up and overhead. Good, right hand holds onto left wrist. Let's take a little stretch over again to that right side. Big breath in. Come back through your center. Left hand onto right. And again, pulling on that wrist. Good, opening up that right side. Come back up, arms melt down. Thank you so much again. I hope you enjoyed that class. Let me know if anything doesn't feel right.